Following Real Madrid's latest loss to Liverpool in the Champions League and the poor showing by basically all the players and the manager as well, there has been so many question marks about Real Madrid, the ability to compete in the biggest competitions, and if Xabi Alonso is the right man for the job. I'm Isco and I will try to give my own opinion on Xabi and Real Madrid. We all know that last season with Carlo Ancelotti was a horror season. We lost 4 El Clasicos to Barcelona. We didn't win LaLiga, basically didn't win any trophies, and of course lost to Arsenal in the Champions League, which was a huge blow, of course. And then Carlo Ancelotti finally got sacked, or he resigned, but we all know how it was actually. And Xabi Alonso got appointed not too long after that. Now there was of course some question marks, how are we gonna play, this and that, who is he gonna sign, but I think most of us, we were positive about the signing, and even the signings that he made, the players, which was Huijsen, Mastantuono, and of course the left back Carreras. Now Xabi Alonso's tenure of course with Real Madrid started completely different than any other coach, because we had the Club World Cup, which we performed quite okay. He tried a lot of formations, we had the Gonzalo Garcia performances, of course Mbappe was injured, so people weren't putting too much on it on Xabi, but then the first real negative showed in our season, which was the 4-0 loss to PSG. But once again, people were of course upset with this result, but we gave them basically 3 goals or 2 goals, where Raul Asensio couldn't kick out the ball, buddy, and Rudiger forgot how to play football. Once again, I was frustrated that we didn't win the Club World Cup, but I wasn't like, oh my god, Xabi Alonso cannot adapt. Yeah, like Mbappe was injured, Camavinga didn't play, Jude was right before surgery. And yeah, we had so many things to figure out. So I would say most of Madrid fans, I would say 99% of Madrid fans were happy with Xabi Alonso after the Club World Cup. Of course, even though we lost 4-0, because it was just too early to get an estimate what it would actually look like in the real season. But that's where LaLiga began. And I think most of us try to put on pink glasses for Xabi and that everything's gonna be good. But from the first game, there has been a lot of negatives and a lot of positives as well. We had one of the best starts to the season so far. We have 13 wins from 16 games, which is, I think, our best start in 64 years, which is crazy, okay. But the performances, anybody who actually watches our matches and sees the performances from the first match, we could see that it's not it. The first match was won by Mbappe's brilliance, winning a penalty and then scoring it. It was 1-0, of course. And then we basically won every single game. We had some slip-ups maybe in the performances, but we were really good. We were really good, performing like a champion, getting 3 points while performing good and bad as well, which was expected by Xabi because he was brought in to be more tactical, more tough as a manager. And of course, Kylian Mbappe started the season on fire. So we were actually really confident coming into every match, and I was confident even with the Madrid derby. But we all know how that ended. The Madrid derby unfortunately ended 5-2, and I would say that's the worst result, with Liverpool as well, of course. I would say that's the worst result for most of the players and the manager as well, because the decisions of the manager and the players on that pitch, they were just so questionable. The new signings, of course, Huijsen and Carreras not performing, the injuries once again emerging with Dani Carvajal, Militao, this and that, but mainly Xabi Alonso there, where our best player, I would say, on that pitch that day was Arda Güler, who scored the goal and assisted Mbappe for the second. But he got substituted after 60 minutes, and Jude Bellingham, who didn't play for 2 months, played the whole game, almost the whole game. And Xabi's substitutions all around in that game were I just think that they were not existent to be winning the game. We were not looking to win the game, we were cruising, and I would say it's on the players, of course, but that game, I would say, is on Xabi Alonso. Now, of course, it was the first loss, we got through it, the performance wasn't great, but really after this game, the question mark started to pop up. After that, though, we got right back on track and we started winning once again. We didn't lose any single game, we haven't drawn a single game after that, up until the point of Liverpool, of course, but from even a player standpoint, players like Mbappe, Tchouaméni, Arda Güler, then Jude Bellingham and Camavinga in the El Clásico, Xabi did a good job with most of the players, but once again, the performances weren't adding up to the points. The points were there. The 3 points were there almost every single time. But the game, for example, against Getafe, which just wasn't great in my opinion, and the Juve game was a big indicator in my opinion that something is wrong with the team and we aren't ready, really ready for the biggest competition, the Champions League. Maybe in LaLiga we can compete, of course, and we thought that by beating Barcelona 2-1, but we now all know that Barcelona is in the worst state they have been in like 3 years. It's looking once again like the second season of Xabi, where he just couldn't compete with anything. Now Barcelona are of course suffering with injuries, that doesn't help at all, but Flick just seems to be, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to be getting the fact that the tactical side of Barcelona is just not working now. And I think we were victims of Barcelona's shitty season, to be honest. We thought we were a good team after beating Barcelona. That was it. We beat them 2-1. We could have scored 4 or 5. We missed the penalty. We basically dominated them for like 60 minutes. Then we tapered off a little bit, okay. But Jude Bellingham had an outstanding performance. Mbappe scores a goal. Yeah, we were just good all around. But once again, we got tricked by Valencia not being able to play football. Once again, the problem with LaLiga, the teams have no competitiveness behind them, and we destroyed them 4-0. And basically in the second half we did nothing. We just controlled the game and we got the win 4-0, which was great in my opinion. But once again, we had pink glasses. I was a victim of that as well. I thought we were actually gonna win against Liverpool comfortably. Xabi Alonso and the players once again proved me wrong, because it wasn't just the result. The result was 1-0 and we deserved to lose way more, because Thibaut Courtois saved us in that game. It could have been 3 or 4, but it was 1-0. And the performance is the biggest thing I have to speak right now about. I already did on my channel, but it's just disgusting in my opinion. There was no fight, no bark from the players, no press, no tactical awareness. There was no link up in the attack. We were moving the ball side to side. We weren't really doing anything. Vinny Jr. getting pocketed by Conor Bradley, Mbappe not really doing too much, the midfield completely getting out-muscled, and the defense just had too much on their plate. And once again, Thibaut Courtois did what he could, but we conceded and we of course lost the game. Which brings me to the players and the relationship between them and Xabi Alonso, which just doesn't seem to be great. We all know this now. Look at Vinicius Jr. versus Barcelona. I am leaving. It's better if I leave. He got substituted because Rodrigo apparently wants to fight with him. I'm telling you right now, Rodrigo, can you please leave my club? Rodrigo, please leave my club. I wanted you to leave for you to have a better career, and now you're just rotting away on the bench. And Xabi Alonso doesn't even know where you want to play, because he substituted you on the left wing against Barcelona, but then he does really weird thing where he just discards everything that has been happening before and puts Rodrigo on the right side in the Champions League. I just don't get it. And he seems to be trying something different with everybody, this and that. And his coaching style, of course, isn't liked amongst any players. Most of the players, my bad. But I don't really care about that. The players have to put up with that. Like, the players have to shush and reflect on how they did last season, because it was embarrassing. So I don't care about his coaching style or how he coaches. Just play better, be better, run more, work harder. That's all I have to say to the players. But Vinicius Jr. as well. I just have to mention it. Buddy, if you don't want to be here, if you don't want to sign the contract, if you want the same money as Mbappe, perform the same as Mbappe. Because if you don't start performing, I'm telling you, the season is short. Time flies by, so start performing, or the club will have to make a decision soon. The same goes for the player named Rodrigo. I said it before, you have to leave our club, and you just have to move on. This gimmick of you fighting with Vinny and then getting put out in multiple positions, in multiple matches, which is another point of Xabi Alonso, but Rodrigo, you have to leave. And as I said, Xabi Alonso, you should pick your 11, because I think we had around 7 or 8 different 11s in across 11 matches. 7 to 8 different, complete different tactical styles, formations, the players who were playing. The El Clasico was completely different from the game against Valencia, but the Liverpool game was the same lineup as against Barcelona, but that doesn't really make sense when Barcelona plays completely different to Liverpool. I just don't seem to get it. The Villarreal game, once again, is another example. You can see the lineups on the screen right now, but I just don't seem to get it, and I think we were really, really blinded by the performance against Barcelona. Barcelona just isn't that good anymore, and we have to put up with that because Madrid isn't ready for the big games. The lineup problem is there, the coach and the players, the relationships, Vinny Jr., the injuries as well. Rudiger injured, of course, Camavinga being out, Jude Bellingham at the start, they're finally back, but we have just got news that Tchouaméni is injured for 3 weeks, which is not that bad, but once again, if somebody gets injured and the injury prolongs itself, we never know. The injuries last year, just look at last year, we played Vasquez, you know, it was atrocious last year with the injuries, so I hope it isn't the case. Once again, we just have to hope. But yeah, I just want to speak about the lineup now. I think if you ask most Real Madrid fans, they would say this played the best football that we have seen, because this is the formation that we basically played against Valencia and Barcelona. It was a bit different because we had a right winger against Valencia and we had, of course, Camavinga against Barcelona, but the principle was the same. The right-sided player just tucks inside or just plays out wide more. It depends on who plays instead of Camavinga or Franco, of course. But this won against Barcelona. Now, I was saying I want to play this exact formation against Liverpool and see us dominate them as we did, because Liverpool, of course, has been out of form. But once again, I'm talking about it way too much, but we are blinded by La Liga's uncompetitiveness, bro. We think La Liga's this and that, we are big clubs and we beat Barcelona, and against Atletico maybe it was a slip up. I just don't think it was. We are just bad. In terms of competitiveness, we have no competitors instead of Atletico and Barcelona, which are trash this season. And we still lost to Atletico Madrid, and we still only won 2-1 against Barcelona. I think it just shows that we are actually bad. We should have won more against Barcelona, and we definitely should have beat this poor Atletico side, which is getting carried by one player, which is Julian Alvarez. I just don't think these players are good enough mentally. Ability-wise, I have no problem in believing that Courtois, Valverde, Militao, Huijsen and Carreras can be a Champions League winning defense. I have literally seen Bellingham, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Mbappe, Vinny Jr., Arda Güler on a level that can win you Champions Leagues. You can maybe say Arda Güler wasn't really a part of it and Mbappe still hasn't won the Champions League. But come on, is Mbappe not a Champions League winner-worthy player? I think he is from a performance standpoint of view, of course. And Jude Bellingham, Camavinga, Tchouaméni and Vinny Jr. have literally done it with Federico Valverde, Militao and Courtois as well. I don't think it's an ability issue. I just think we are not tactically set up well and the mentality of the players has to change. So yes, as you can see on the thumbnail, I am worried for this team, because if something doesn't change quickly, we can lose to Manchester City, we can start to lose points in La Liga, and if Barcelona gets their players back and actually fixes up, does the opposite of what we are doing now, just settles for mid, because we are completely mid in terms of world competition, the top 5 competition, because Bayern, PSG, Liverpool, even Arsenal, maybe Manchester City, maybe Inter Milan could beat us. I don't know. Let me see the game against Manchester City, but if Barcelona gets back to their best, we might lose La Liga. I don't think we are going to win the Champions League. I don't think we are going to win the Champions League. Can it happen? Yes, it can. With these players, anything can happen because I think they have the quality. But there is just something missing. There is one profile always missing. The right wing spot is just always up for debate. Tchouaméni now being injured. Who is going to play there? How are we going to move about Jude Bellingham and Arda Güler in the same team? The Vinny situation. Does he want to leave? Does he want to play? Does he perform the next game? Is Mbappe going to stay fit? We never know what's going to happen. And all of these things play in to the worry of mine and most of the Madrid fans with Xabi Alonso and the team as well, that this team might not be ready this season and we might have to wait. and be patient. So would I say that Xabi Alonso is not the right man for the job for Real Madrid and he should get sacked in 2 months if he don't win anything or start winning games comfortably? I don't think so. I think we need to give him at least 1 full season at this club and see what he does and how he fares with managing these players, to be honest. And most of these players are on a watch list for me as well. Vinicius Jr., can Camavinga stay fit? Can Fede Valverde actually adapt to the right back position? Can Xabi Alonso try to maybe switch up the formation to a 3-back? Or can Carreras and Huijsen finally adapt to actually being solid every single game? Now they're of course young, but we will have to see. We will just have to see, but I can confidently say I am trusting Xabi Alonso to turn it around and actually be good. At least be a good competition and win LaLiga, maybe get far in the Champions League. But yes, I am worried for this team because anything can happen. And so far, they have given me 50-50, mixed negatives, positives, but we will see. Of course, next up is Rayo Vallecano. Let's move step by step, win that game, and stay on top of La Liga, of course. Now, I'm going to do a watch along, of course. Make sure to tune in. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on Xabi Alonso and the team so far down below in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.